The cops are patrolling the M62 when Simon spots a motorbike.
Just have a look at him.
You want to?
Yeah. We're just reaching one of the highest parts of the motorway. This is near the Grouth to Manchester border. Now this is late at night. There's not many bikers will use that stretch of road at that time of night. It can be extremely windy up there, it can turn extremely icy, it can be wet in no time. About here.
The biker finds a safe place to pull over.
It's a fast bike, it's a very nice bike, and for a lot of people it'd be quite expensive to insure.
Hello there, you alright?
Alright.
Is it your motorbike?
It is, yeah.
I don't think you've done anything wrong, by the way. We're just stopping and checking vehicles late at night. Is the bike registered to you?
It is, yeah.
And is it in your name for the insurance?
Yeah.
Romeo Tango.
I'll just let you know now, the policy does run out at midnight. Yeah, so I'm in a bit
So
of a
we've
hurry
got
to get
12
home.
minutes to get you home.
There is absolutely no way he can get anywhere to any sort of place or civilization within 12 minutes. So I'm starting to wonder about him already.
Could you do us a vehicle person and DL at junction 22, please, on the, well, just junction 22. Vehicles Tango 430 Alpha Lima Juliet. It's taking a bit of a chance, isn't it? Cutting it fine.
He could be taking a chance and it could be reenacting that fairy tale of Cinderella, and if he doesn't get home in time, he won't turn into a pumpkin, but he might end up with his bike seized.
Yes, showing no report, shows details not held on a black Honda motorcycle.
Are you sure it runs out at this midnight, or did it run out at last midnight?
Pretty sure it's tonight.
Had you not made any provisions for midnight coming and changing it to a new policy, or?
No, because work's not been too good recently, so I can't actually afford any policy.
Obviously, we've hit a bit of a problem, really.
Yeah.
See, I'm a nice guy, and I wouldn't think for a second you'd be lying to us or anything like that. I'm just trying to establish whether a mistake's been made. Is anybody at home at the moment that's got access to your policy?
Yes, my mum's here. Can you do me a favour? Go on, do you know what my certificate is for the bike insurance I got?
Even if Mum can find his docs, the biker could still be facing a hefty fine and 6 penalty points. Back on the M62, Simon and Mark could also be seizing a vehicle if the biker's mum can't find his insurance policy.
I don't think his mum would be too happy if she had to tell him that it was uninsured, but we simply wanted to find out.
What's the date of the expiry of it?
She's found the documents.
Midnight on what day? 4th. Yeah.
His insurance ran out midnight yesterday.
Short start to you.
Okay, I'll have a right quick word. Who's this? I'm speaking.
man.
Hello, it's PC Ellis from the traffic police. You all right? We're just checking people late at night, that's all.
I was quite happy to speak to his mum, because hearing that her son had been stopped in the middle of the night on a motorbike, it can run all sorts of fears through a parent's mind. So if nothing else, it'd be nice to reassure her.
Should something happen with him being on his bike and he doesn't have insurance, then it's going to have all sorts of problems for him, cause all sorts of issues. So we will be seizing it.
It's estimated 20% of 17 to 20-year-olds drive without insurance.
He's going to lose his bike, which will be worth quite a lot to him. But there's all sorts of different things that were going through his mind about the costs it's going to incur, the trouble with his mum when he gets home.
So it's a fine and 6 penalty points.
6.
Yeah.
How much are we talking for fine-wise, do you know?
The current fine,
200, is it 300?
300.
£300 I don't have.
He's taken a chance, he's been caught out, and I think he's starting to realise the enormity of what he's done.
The cops try their best to soften the blow.
Give you a lift?
For no extra fee.
You don't mind?
It's a buy one, get one free.
I'm not particularly in the mood for jokes, so... Have you got a bike?
I've had loads of bikes.
Yeah.
BMWs, Ducatis.
Yeah.
One of the best bikes I've ever had was a 600 Bandit.
Oh no, Bandit's horrible.
Oh, they're brilliant in Bandits.
Old man sport bike, that.
The recovery man arrives and the biker says his goodbyes.
It was a bit disheartening seeing it getting dragged off, like. So just want to make sure I don't have any knocks. Like I say, shit happens. You need a bleeper.
It might be an honest mistake from this broke biker, but riding with no insurance is a high-risk game.
Bike insurance is expensive. Some people chance it, they'll never get stopped in their life riding a bike. So
that's the way it is now with insurance, isn't it? It's far too expensive, especially for cars.
Yeah.
Like, that's why a lot of young people do go without insurance.
do you know many of your mates that do or anything like that? I'm not saying grass them up, I'm just interested.
Yeah, a couple do. Just purely because it's like extortionate expense.
Do they not worry about getting caught though?
Well, yeah, but it's just a risk, isn't it?
You think it's worth the risk?
We've got to do it to get by.
I think credit and money to some can seem much easier to come by. People put the priorities in the wrong order. They want what they want, they see what other people have got, they aspire to have nice things like we all do, but the priorities in the wrong order. They can't actually afford it.
Right, lads.
All right, see you later. Take care.
I'm not sure I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that house when the door got shut. He's certainly going to have some explaining to do.
I think more and more, as bills become tight and as things become more expensive, insurance becomes that thing that becomes more of a luxury to some people, certainly not in our eyes, but if you've got bills to pay and insurance is one of them and you think, am I going to get stopped by a police? Can I take a chance? People will take a chance.
By the time the burn-up starts to hit Brighton, the numbers have swollen even more. All along Madeira Drive, proud bike riders are showing off their gleaming motorcycles and taking in the fresh sea and petrol-filled air. Traffic cops PC Jason Daly and PC Dane Goddard are here too, showing off their brightly coloured BMW and looking out for trouble.
You're sort of like geared up, ready for the mass stream of motorcycles to come in, and I mean, some of them are absolutely good as gold, you know, and they're there as pure enthusiasts to come and enjoy the day. And you get some that do the ride and then they just want to be a bit silly.
It hasn't taken long for PC Goddard to spot someone who's not quite right in the head.
Just looked across and saw this motorbike with the rider with a helmet on and the pillion passenger sitting on the back with her blonde hair, just floating about in the wind.
She's not got a helmet on that bike. Passengers.
I had to do a double take, really, because it's something you just don't see.
Where is she, though? Where is she? Where is she? Where is she? Let me keep an eye on her. She's there. She's there.
Sure enough, the passenger is hatless.
Hello there. You turn your bike off. Good man. Okay. Turn right in the next street and we'll have a chat with you about why your passenger isn't wearing a helmet. Okay. Yeah? I've never seen that before. After you.
Put him in. What is it?
AE55 NVA. Unbelievable.
I used to ride a motorbike, and the amount of accidents we see with motorcyclists, you know, and I dealt with one last year. His helmet had a little bit of damage to it, but other than that, no damage whatsoever. His head, no injuries. So, you know, they're absolutely worth their weight in gold.
The reason we're stopping you today is you're carrying a pillion passenger and she's obviously not wearing a helmet. Yeah? The only reason why you're not wearing a helmet?
It's in here. We were just going to park here and walk.
Yeah.
And she just didn't want to put it on for a short time.
And I mean, we should know, but we didn't know it was.
What is the law?
They were on holiday from America, come from Pennsylvania, and they'd come down to Brighton for the day.
Made a mistake.
Have you got your driving licence with you, please?
Yes.
How long have you been in the country?
About 3 weeks.
The man's licence is okay, but now there's a problem with the bike's tax.
I checked the tax disc because it was in a holder, but it just didn't look right. It looked as though the dye had run on it, and so I managed to unclip it and take it out. You could see it was an actual photocopy of the tax disc, a proper laser colour copy, which I thought, oh goodness, you know, has someone stolen a tax disc, or is there a fraudulent loose of a tax disc?
The motorcycle's been rented.
I rung the actual hire shop and spoke to them, and it had been legitimately hired.
We got that stopped. The rider was carrying a passenger without a helmet.
And they said, no, as a matter of course, they keep all the tax discs in their office and photocopy them to put them on the road.
It's not ideal to have a photocopied tax disc, and you could get prosecuted for it. I know that they get stolen, they're easy to steal, but the offence is failing to display a tax disc. So if you display a fake one, you're not actually displaying a valid tax disc.
We contacted DVLA, and they said that the vehicle was taxed and was allowed to be on the road. It's just that their company policy is they put a photocopied tax disc in the holder just because of the amount of people that use it, where it gets left, and the high theft rate of tax discs.
It's so weird because there's states in the US that do require helmets, but Pennsylvania is one that doesn't.
The female just hadn't put a helmet on because in America, where she grows up, you don't have to wear a helmet if you don't want to.
Well, it's sunny over there, isn't it? Pennsylvania, you can get a nice tan while you're riding your bike. Can't down in Brighton, can you?
But I would imagine it'd be no different if you got hit by a car or you had an accident, you're coming off. And I know personally, if I was in that country and in that state, I would have a helmet on.
Okay, Dustin, there's your passport and driving licence back. What will happen is, in the next 3 months, you'll receive some notification through to an address. So whereabouts are you staying in the UK?
So we reported the rider for carrying a pillion on the back with no helmet.
Well, you've come down the back of that all the way from London?
It's a long trip. There is a helmet in there. I wore it all the way here.
Oh, cool, Benny. I was going to say, I can't believe that.
The only time in this trip I did it was for the 2 minutes, like from the hotel to here.
2 minutes is enough to kill him, I'm afraid.
All right, Monday you go.
Thank you.
I couldn't understand why she wasn't wearing it at all, I really couldn't.
She's got yeehaw boots on.
Pennsylvania, is that the one that we go, oh? Was that Transylvania?
I think that's Transylvania.
They were lovely boots. Absolutely lovely cowboy boots. If I could afford a pair, I'd get a pair for myself and do a couple of bits of line dancing.
Not to be confused with bloodthirsty vampires, the now properly dressed Pennsylvanians are free to go. PC Dennis is a biker himself, as well as being a traffic cop. He's trying to cut the speeds and reduce the death toll by targeting the small minority who want to ride beyond the limit.
Got a hardcore nucleus of stupid, dangerous, inconsiderate riders who are intent on riding their motorcycles as fast as they possibly can.
PC Dennis's Honda VFR can do 155 miles per hour. But more importantly, it's equipped with some of the latest crime-fighting gear designed to catch the bad bikers on camera.
We've got the camera mounted there, which captures all the evidence. And in here, we've got the recorder. This is what I showed at the roadside. I can replay this and show the offenders what the evidence is. A picture says 1,000 words, doesn't it?
Today, PC Dennis is hunting for unsuspecting law-breaking bikers near the village of Wetwang. With his colleagues, PC's Ian John and Sarah White, who are keeping watch just down the road. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour. Considerably less than this bike rider's observing.
Yeah, red and white one coming towards you from Tipthorpe. We're trying to make progress to catch it up now.
He's going like a bat out of hell. But with PC Dennis lying in wait, he might soon be a dead duck.
The information I had over the radio was this bike was travelling at very, very high speed and was just leaving Ian and Sarah way behind.
He's out of our view now. We're 90 to a ton and...
He was so fast, all they could put out was a description of a red V-twin.
Just a red and white bike.
Ian knew it was a V-twin by the engine noise because he's a motorcyclist himself. But he was so fast that it was clear to Ian and clear to Sarah that there's only one thing on his mind, and that's riding as fast as he can.
Yeah, white helmet I think and black jacket.
And sure enough, a red V-twin motorcycle comes up to the junction. But before I can actually get anywhere near him, he's just absolutely disappeared. He has nailed that throttle. He was up in the distance, half a mile, 3/4 mile ahead of me.
Black jacket with white on it.
Some vehicles on the road ahead have come to PC Dennis's aid. They've helped him catch up with the speeding biker. Now his camera equipment is catching the evidence.
He'd been slowed down by traffic, a tractor and so on. So I just followed him. We overtook 2 or 3 cars. I think there was a goods vehicle in there. And then I noted his speed getting up to about 100, 110 miles an hour on my speedo.
PC Dennis has got all the evidence he needs. But somehow he must now stop the rider.
Every time we follow a bike, the first thing that's in my mind is safety. However, it was getting towards the tolerances of where I'm not prepared to continue.
Luckily, there's a roundabout coming up, where, as part of the plan, more of his team have been positioned. The rider made a big mistake not spotting a cop on his tail, but at least he's seen the ones ahead.
When he saw the unmarked car at the roundabout, and his head dropped and he shook his head as if to say, oh no, more trouble am I in? I then pulled alongside him, and he took one look at me and his head dropped even further. And it was clear that he knew the gravity of the problem he was facing.
The look on your face says it all.
But the video will show him even more.
Here's the video. Camera's in there. Now watch my speeds compared to yours. I'm staying with you. 75, 76, 80. Big overtake on the caravan. Standard of riding isn't that good, I have to say that. 103, 107, 109, 110. That's the evidence, which will be put before the magistrates.
The man's Honda SP1 is a model that was raced to victory at the TT on the Isle of Man. It's been built for speed and middle-aged enthusiasts.
30-something male, race rep bike, albeit a 1990s race rep bike, an SP1, but falls into the stereotypical problem motorcyclist that we have. I think he's looking at certainly lots of points and heavy fine and possibly losing his licence.
The possibility of losing his licence has hit the rider hard.
He's only just holding himself together. See his lip quivering, he's in a real state. We've told him to go and compose himself and pull the bike over. I feel quite sorry for the guy. However, he's in control of the bike. If his licence was so precious to him, he should have thought more about what he was doing.
I'm not bothered about my job, really. It's a toy out there. That's stupid.
Very stupid. Slow yourself down, mate. All right? He'd been deliberately riding at very high speed for a sustained amount of time, and he's only got himself to blame.
But it's not just young lads looking out for their next high who are taking risks on our roads. The motorway cops are facing a new problem: the born-again biker, middle-aged men and their fast bikes.
I've never liked motorcycles and I never will. I will never have one.
With 30 motorcyclists killed or injured at junctions every day, the risks are high. But for some, the risk is worth it.
Freedom. The best feeling in the world, freedom. You get on that motorcycle, you put your lid on, and you get out on road. No one can ring you, no one can pester you, not listening to the radio, it's just you. You and your thoughts on open road, and it's fantastic.
South Bradford. Officers James Alderson and Dick Infield are off the motorway and responding to reports of a collision.
Tango 62 calling us.
Yeah, 62, yeah, I've got an emergency RTC coming at Halifax Road at Bradford. Male off a motorbike rider lying in the road.
Yep. Yeah, we're en route. So we're just making our way to the area now. You certainly, it's a worrying collision when a motorcyclist's involved.
I've been on traffic for 16 years. You know, if there's a car and a motorcycle involved, there's likely to be only one winner.
Oof, if motorbike's done that, mate, look at the damage to that. It's looking extensive damage, is this?
It was carnage when we got there. There was a lot of damage.
The rider is lying injured in the road. He's conscious, but the paramedics don't yet know how serious the injuries are. There's no sign of the driver of the car.
Is driver still here?
He took some out of his car. Is he going to run that?
I don't know. Who's driving that?
He's disappeared, he's gone. Someone, have you witnessed it, fella?
Yeah, we were.
Which way did this lad go?
Which, the Chinese bloke?
Yeah.
He must have been, I've seen him over here.
Just have a look round for this Chinese lad.
People leaving the scene of accidents happens more often than people think. It is, unfortunately, quite a common occurrence.
Looks like probably motorbike's been going away from Bradford towards Halifax. And I'm guessing that's probably trying to cut across front of it.
Details come back on the car's owner.
Keeper is a Mr. Sun Kai Wang.
He lives close by, but before the cops can pay a visit, the injured biker's dad arrives.
If you turn up at a collision scene and your son's injured, it's going to be one of the most worrying things, one of the worrying times of your life. I have massive sympathy for the dad to find out that the driver who has hurt his son has fled. I can imagine he was quite angry.
As well as dealing with dad's distress, the cops still need to work out how the crash happened. Luckily, there are witnesses.
Now, he's overtaken both of us at one hell of a speed.
Right.
I would say 60 or 70,
Right.
something like that.
We have to paint a big picture of what's happened before we can decide who is at fault.
And let's take the motorbike out of the equation altogether. I would have had to brake fairly hard to avoid this car.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have hit it.
Yeah. So you think the motorbike was going too fast, but you think Almira's pulled across front of the motorbike?
Even if the bike was doing 30.
The collision would happen anyway. If the bike had been doing the speed limit, the collision would happen anyway, as far as you're
because the bike was just so close to where this car was at the time. I mean,
Speed could be a factor, but there's now some suggestion the missing driver could also be at fault.
You can be as careful as you want to be. There is always the people that aren't going to be as careful as you. And unfortunately, you're not in a tin box. So any little knock that you would get in a car that would cause minor damage on a motorbike is going to cause serious injury to the rider, who is inevitably going to be dismounted from the bike.
The biker, meanwhile, is being assessed by paramedics.
Collisions of this sort could quite easily be fatal collisions. The only positive thing from our point of view is he's conscious, he's breathing, he's talking to us, albeit he's in some pain.
James updates Dad.
I don't know, when we got here, he was on the road, he's conscious, he's talking to him. It's always a good sign.
You know, I like to think that we'd try and keep him as informed as possible and be as sympathetic and genuinely caring as I possibly can be, because, you know, we do care. Being a biker, sometimes we don't help ourselves as motorcyclists by putting ourselves in positions where people wouldn't expect you to be, but it's just not natural for people to be looking for motorcycles, unfortunately.
The question of whether this biker had been seen by the driver could soon be answered. There's an unexpected arrival on scene.
That is our elusive Mr. Wang.
Great Lightbook Street.
Were you driving?
Yeah.
Is it your car? Where have you been?
It was a surprise to see the driver returning to the scene because they don't normally come back.
So have you tried to turn in there?
No. I turned in there.
And how have you not seen him?
I'm a great believer in there's always two sides to a story, and you need to listen to both sides.
But first, Dick has to establish if the driver holds a valid licence.
Where's your licence from? What country?
From China.
How long have you lived here?
How long? I live in here 9 years.
You can't drive over here on a Chinese licence.
Let's have a conflab.
James interrupts the interview with news from the ambulance. There's been some complication with the biker's condition.
They ain't going to know jack until they scan him, are they?
Do you want to speak to Joe with them?
Right.
So I'm just going to...
I think we're going to end up calling this, you know.
Well, do you want to speak to Joe?
I'll have a word with her. Hello, Sarge. Can you speak a minute?
The sergeant decides to treat the accident as a potential fatal.
It changes everything for us. It's just an injury collision. We have to look at scene preservation now, and we have to look at making sure everything stays in situ, making sure nothing else contaminates the scene that we've got here.
With the rider in a bad way, it's even more important the cops establish who caused the crash. Back on the Halifax Road, southwest Bradford. The seriously injured biker is taken to hospital, and James and Dick have been joined by Crash Investigation Sergeant Julie Fitzpatrick.
Certainly, one's coming this way and says he's just seen a biker and turned across front of him. Other one says biker's coming this way, has done it, gone for a big overtake on two of them, and then got in just before bollards.
With Julie and James investigating the collision, Dick struggles to explain to the driver his Chinese licence isn't legal.
You can't drive on that licence in this country.
No. Before I ask some people, every people can take this one.
He's quite entitled to drive in this country on a Chinese licence, but only for the first 12 months after becoming resident. After that, he has to apply for a UK licence. You've been here 9 years.
Yes.
You've no licence. You haven't got a licence to drive in this country. That's no good.
Logo.
No.
Look, I don't really understand this English. Can I ask some interpreter come down?
Where from? Have you got one?
Yeah, Manchester Law.
From where?
Manchester Law.
While they track down an interpreter, at the scene, there's concerns the biker may have been too close to the oncoming lane the car was in.
Why is he so far over?
Oh yeah, because he's got a line.
He's a long way
coming.
over. If you look where that impact's happened, the biker would have to be here.
That's an animal bar, isn't it?
Yeah. In a situation like this, when you have a vehicle that turns across the path of another vehicle, I would say that the vehicle that's turned across the path of another vehicle is to blame. Unfortunately, the motorcyclist hasn't helped himself in this incident.
But looking at just what we've got at the scene, I'd suggest there's an element of blame on both parties here.
An update comes through from the hospital on the driver's condition.
I don't think it's going to be out life-threatening, but I'll come back to you in 5 James. Still tell me when it comes out.
A translator is finally found.
Sorry to disturb you. Okay, right. Mr. Wang has been involved in an accident.
Yes.
Okay? I need to ask him some questions about the accident and also about his driving licence.
我是没事，那个骑单车的那个2个人那个开得很快嘛，我本来是哈利法路嘛，不能。他有事吗？他也没有事，就是你跟他说，他对方呢，就是他呢开过来是很快的。
While the driver insists he's not to blame, there's some further news on his licence. A check on the police national database reveals he does have a UK licence, but it's only a provisional. He needs L plates to drive legally.
Right, you are not displaying L plates on your car.
对，有，我们旁边也有嘛。
车上有吗？
有。
Are there any L plates on Almira? Thank you. No.
No.
I've just checked with my mate who's at the scene. There's no L plates on that car.
我平时你跟他说我不知道，我刚才那个开车出来了，我。
The driver also insists a supervisor was with him in the car.
Who is it? Who was passenger?
谁？
他看到我们出这个事情了，然后他就跑了。
He's adamant that he had someone with him. Why he's told us that, I don't know. He's claiming he's with a female.
就是他的朋友。你说这个要不要讲？太大了，昨天。我就是怕，就是一直怕。
He's seeing himself as the victim in all this, when in fact he hasn't got the correct documentation. He has to accept some of the blame for the crash, but he's seeing himself as the victim.
News from the hospital confirms the biker has sustained some serious injuries, but they're no longer deemed to be life-threatening.
The riders had a lucky escape. But for the grace of God, I think any motorcyclist out there would be stupid not to be aware of the downside of it. And I think the moment that you forget about the dangers, the moment you start thinking you're invincible, is the moment that you get seriously hurt or killed. See, social workers, police officers, removal men and road sweepers. That's it, we don't do a bit of everything.
And the police decided the motorcyclist and the driver of the Nissan were both partly to blame for the accident. The rider eventually made a full recovery. The driver of the Nissan was prosecuted for not having a driving licence, given 3 points and fined £135. Another motorcyclist has been hurt very badly in another unusual collision.
Just getting a report of RTC.
Out in the North Lincolnshire countryside.
A man on a motorbike at high speed, he's landed in a ditch.
All I knew was a motorcyclist involved in an accident and the bike was in a ditch. I had to go to the next junction on the motorway and come off there and then travel along country lanes and mainly B roads to try and get to the location.
PC Graham McNally has been beaten to the scene by an ambulance. Its crew have picked up the injured rider.
Hello.
And have the details about what happened.
How's he looking?
Facial injuries.
That it?
Hit with a pheasant quite massively.
Oh, in the face?
Yeah.
A flying pheasant has struck him in the face.
All right, brilliant. Lovely. See you soon. Thanks, see you later. You do get a lot of pheasants that do fly out and people do unfortunately hit them. And this poor man had taken it right in his face, which when you're on a bike isn't the best of ideas. No, they'll be all right. Arriving on scene, everyone else had gone apart from the witness, the first responders and the bike.
The first responders are local volunteers with first aid training.
We've seen the back end of the bike in the dike, and our first instinct is to check the person out for injuries. We was mainly concerned about spinal, because you get that with bikes, but he had no spinal injury, no head injuries, just facial.
So I actually thought he'd gone this side. So he was obviously coming where the van is now.
Right.
The pheasant flew out across the front of the car and hit him straight in the visor.
Right.
And he swerved behind the car. And I thought he had gone this side, and when I've come back, he was down here. He was actually underneath that.
He was underneath it?
Yeah.
You know where his registration number is?
It's all his bikes down in here. That's his visor,
There's no registration, is there?
Bits of bike are all over the place, but the bulk of it is intact, unlike the pheasant.
Some down there.
It's a Honda CBR, probably a 600 LR. Actually, looking at that, it might even be a... Yeah, cancel that, I think it's a 900cc. In a car, you've got plenty of crash areas which can absorb the impact. On a motorbike, all you've got is your helmet and your leathers. You'll be missing a tree. The gent's been heading towards Messingham, and as you can see, just further down the road, he's left the carriageway. He's then gone straight into the ditch, which is quite a steep drop really, into a narrow ditch. Now they're missing a rather substantial tree, and the bike's fell with him just beyond the tree, and that's where he's been found. Gate 3, Spencer's Garage are happy that they're going to move it. It's not nice to run an animal over.
Whoa, you're out!
People do try and swerve to avoid them, and unfortunately it results in a lot of accidents. It's the first time I've ever known anyone be hit by a pheasant in the visor. It looked like it just took his visor straight off and carried on through the helmet into his face.
PC McNally is visiting the injured rider in hospital to see if he remembers anything about his accident.
Hello, Mr. Hall. How are you feeling?
Sound now.
Right. Do you remember much of what happened?
Yeah, exactly what happened.
Go on, tell me about it.
President flew out the head straight into my face.
Ow.
Hit it about 60 mile an hour.
Broken his nose across here and his cheekbone, and his eye is just out like that. I was going to say, it looks a little bit swollen and splattered.
Just a bit. So after it hit me in the face, I couldn't see a single thing, and I was more worried about hitting a car coming the other way than hitting the ditch.
Right. Oh, I did feel really sorry for him. Nice normal day, he's gone out to enjoy himself on his own, abiding by the speed limit, and next thing you know he's been taken out by a pheasant. Have you seen yourself in the mirror?
No.
We'll leave that for later.
I wasn't very pretty before it happened. It won't put me off cycling, I'll probably get a thicker visor for my helmet though.
One of the most eagerly anticipated events in any biker's calendar, the annual Brighton Burn-Up, starts here in North London, at the legendary Ace Cafe. Tens of thousands of riders from all over Britain and Europe have turned up for a trip to the seaside. Most are well behaved, but as usual, there's always a few who are keen to spin the wheel of fortune. It's a fun day out for all, bar the traffic cops. For them, the massive event is nothing but a massive headache.
Probably from 7 o'clock in the morning till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there's just a constant stream of motorcycles southbound on the M23, A23. It causes a hell of a lot of chaos because a lot of them have got no regard for anyone else on the road. They just want to get to Brighton. They don't care who's in the way. They're just going to get to Brighton as fast as they can.
The A24 isn't a racetrack.
Lights are green.
But there are always some who think it is.
Yeah, well, the bike's doing a horrendous wheelie, and the second one, all doing wheelies up the road. Yeah, all 6 of these bikes are doing wheelies up the road. But they're still doing a wheelie, still on the back wheel, and it's down.
When a motorcyclist rides recklessly, ignoring the law, it often takes one to catch one. This camera footage is from a special unmarked video bike the cops are using to ride amongst the bad bikers without their knowledge. The undercover riders reporting directly to conventional bike cops waiting to join the fray.
Yeah, wheelies again, all standing on the pegs doing wheelies. The 60, doing about 73 in the 60. He's still on the back wheel. That's about 300 yards on the back wheel.
The reason we use an unmarked bike, it fits in with everyone else. If a rider is riding dangerously, we can produce solid evidence in the form of a DVD that can be shown to the courts, and effectively there can be no arguments.
Yeah, he's now wheel spinning, he's got the front brake on and he's spinning the back tyre out. This is the dangerous driving, he's all over the road, he's leaving black lines everywhere.
The back end is snaking around where the front brake is being held and the back wheel is trying to overtake the front wheel. I mean, that is dangerous. He's got very limited control on that bike.
These bikers don't ever think they'll get caught, but just to be sure, one of them's got another trick.
Lane 1 is the second bike back, it's a black bike, he's got no number plate on it.
A trick registration plate.
He's now about 3 or 4 back, he's just flipped his plate down, he's got a flip-up plate on it. See if I can get in the index. Tango 921.
Simply to have no number plate on your bike, that's an offence in itself. But to have something like that, you're effectively perverting the course of justice, which is a crime.
The marked police bikes have now caught up.
The black one directly behind the caravan, just passing it now.
The trick now for the traffic cops is to take the dangerous biker by surprise and to make sure there's no escape by closing off the whole road.
Does anybody else come and save? Because the rest of this lot are just going to go, and if Derek stops this lot, he's going to need a hand. There's about 10 of them here. We've got full lane closure on at the A24.
Because they were in such a large group, we had to stop them all at once. At that time, the video on the recording, it was very difficult to identify exactly who had done what. So on that basis, the whole group, they were all pulled in.
As it stands at the moment, the evidential tape has been reviewed. Your riding as a group is all falls way below the standard expected on the roads, and it falls within the realms of dangerous.
They're riding these machines with no regard to anyone else on the road. You have the family on the day's outing in the car. You've got, dads, mums, children in the back, and then they're suddenly confronted by a motorcyclist coming towards them on the back wheel, and he has no control over his machine. If people are going to ride like that in Sussex, then they must be aware of the consequences.
And the consequences are that they're going to get their bikes confiscated. The whole group is being taken into custody until the cops decide who's going to be charged with what.
It appears the rider's fitted some sort of device under here, which means that obviously if he wants to, he can press a button on his handlebars and his number plate will flip up. So therefore it's now unreadable. And then obviously if he then gets stopped, he just flips it back down and he's got a number plate that's readable. So speed cameras, being followed by police, etc. You can just see there's some sort of fitment here. And I think the officers originally saw him with the number plate up, and it's now obviously down. So
he'd gone out there with the intention of flipping up his number plate, riding like that, flipping up his number plate so he couldn't be traced. But unfortunately, because of the way we do things now, he was stopped.
The road side of it, yeah?
It's just a bit.
Got it.
In Sussex, bike riders make up only 4% of road users. Yet, disproportionately, they account for more than a quarter of all the road deaths in the county. It's just gone midday, and still the motorbikes are streaming down the A23 on their way to Brighton. Only now some of them are getting a little worried they're going to miss the party.
There's two bikes together. One was travelling in excess of 100 mile an hour. And not only was he doing 100 mile an hour in excess, he was in and out of the traffic.
Once again, the Sussex Stig is on their tail. Video running.
Punch back up again now. There's two in particular I'm looking for, which is the Romanian registered one. Both undertaking, overtaking, etc.
We were sitting down on various stages on the 23 as a motorcycle team.
We want them to the same lay-by. Yeah, the second one. We want to try and get them both together, and we'll put them both for summons at the same time. Yeah?
The two speeding bikes are heading right towards where the bike cops are lying in wait.
Just going past the on-slip. I see you up there, two bikes on the left on the on-slip.
They've ridden straight into the bobby trap.
One's right in front of me, and the one directly in front of him, which is the Romanian plate.
You put together excess of 100 mile an hour along with filtering in and out of lanes of traffic that in itself is moving at 50 mile an hour. It's a recipe for disaster, really.
PC Craker's going to have a little word.
Both vehicles were two up, they had passengers, billion passengers, and they're still riding like they do, really, really dangerously.
Have you got any identification on you? Is this your friend? Are you together?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Three of the bikers are London residents. The other says he's from Romania. Transylvania, perhaps?
If he's got ID on him, I can find out who he is straight away, where he's from, his address, whether he's come to notice of the police before, if he's in legal possession of his motorcycle.
This morning, you've come down the A23, OK? We've got a huge motorcycle influx today to Brighton for this big event that's down there. You two gentlemen have just been followed over a distance of excess speed in excess of 100 miles per hour, OK? And you've been seen undertaking and filtering at excess speed.
Yeah, but there were around like 20 bikes around me. Why did you stop just me and him?
Because the vehicle that was following you captured your number plates and you two were the main offenders, OK? And it's all captured on hard drive. Do you understand me?
For about 10 miles, there were around 20 bikes around us.
I'm sure there were. But at the end of the day, your two bikes have been captured. As a result of that, you're both going to be reported for consideration of the question of prosecuting you for careless driving, OK, and excess speed. Do you understand that?
But PC Craker's got a problem. He can't give a ticket to the Romanian without an address.
Are you here permanently?
No.
When are you going back?
Next week.
Next week? And are you coming back to England then?
I don't know.
What do you do for a living?
Working.
Where?
Driver.
Whereabouts?
In Romania.
In Romania?
Countries.
Okay.
Something's not quite adding up.
He's got the nicest bike out of the three of them, which is worth about 11 grand. Carbon fibre helmet, which I know for a fact is about 600 or 700 quid. You just try and put two and two together, don't you? And it doesn't compute, really. It's just his answers to the questions, it just wasn't right.
Have you got anything with your name and address on it?
Sorry?
Have you got anything at all with your address on it? Your address in Romania?
Yeah.
This is you?
Yeah.
Transylvania?
Yeah.
Look at your teeth. Transylvania? No?
No.
I don't matter, it's all right. Okay, mate, no problem.
So yeah, he had two long sharp teeth, he did, at the front.
What's your first name? Is it Andre?
Yeah.
Is it yourself?
Yeah.
Right. Can I just establish that you don't live in this country permanently?
No.
Okay. Because...
I come from Brighton.
Yeah.
I've been last year.
Right.
It's nice.
You come across from Romania just to come to Brighton today?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you are a tourist and you're over here for a couple of weeks, then there's no way I can issue a ticket, because you're not going to pay it, are you? You're going to get back on a ferry and disappear.
Right, do you want to come this way now, mate?
Instead, he's going to be arrested.
Whether he's done it before, I honestly couldn't tell you. But he thought he was going to get away with it.
While the speeding biker gets taken to the police station for questioning about his address, there's time to check up on some more riders who think they can get away with it. This one, in PC Craker's sights, is another without a registration plate. If it's another trick, then he's the one who's going to be had.
The fact that he had no number plate on a particular day like that and such a nice bike, then yes, we were going to stop him no matter what happened. But...
Where's your number plate?
In M25.
M25?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know where it went?
I don't know exactly.
So when did you last see your number plate on your bike?
Maybe 20 minutes ago.
Right. So you stopped 20 minutes ago?
Yeah, we stopped, but we can find on the M25.
Right. So you stopped at the side of the road and realised you didn't have a plate?
Yeah, just my mate stopped me and they say we lost number plate. It's like a broken bracket.
Right.
It's not a flip-up plate, it's just gone missing in action.
Whereabouts you from?
Poland.
Okay, well you've come here from Poland today just for this event?
No.
Right, so whereabouts you from then?
Basingstoke.
Basingstoke? Yeah. Okay, and you've ridden from Basingstoke this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
The man's got all the proper documents, including the bike's registration logbook he'll need to get another number plate. Except it's in Polish, which is going to make things a little difficult.
Okay. Right, whereabouts was the bracket?
Here.
It actually snapped off and there was no road dirt on it, basically. I'm sure he was not telling me porkies.
The thing is, you can't continue riding on the road with no number plate on your vehicle.
Yeah, that's why we go very slow and I in the middle. So.
Right. It's not going to happen. You're not going any further now, okay? Where are you going to get a number plate from today?
In Brighton.
Right, whereabouts in Brighton?
I don't know which. I know where is this shop, but I don't know of
okay.
road.
How many of your friends are you with?
It's all of them. 5.
All of them. Right. Can I suggest that you dispatch one of them to go and get you a number plate now?
Yeah.
Because your bike isn't going to move from here until such time that it's road legal.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So is that fair?
Yeah, it's very fair.
All right. I'm not here to persecute you. All right.
Basically, we established who he was. He was a well-heeled businessman from Poland. And he was riding the bike legitimately.
We need a marker, we put the number plates on his back.
You need?
The marker, permanent marker.
No, it's got to be affixed to the bike, old son. He's not getting prosecuted for it, all right? Yeah. Genuine thing has happened, but I can't allow him to continue. Yeah. So if you was a really, really good Polish mate, you jump on your bike and go and have him one made. Because he's going to sit here until such time he's got one.
Oh my lord.
All right. There's a Halfords in Brighton, and they do it for you straight away.
You know what the thing with the Halfords is, I tried to make one and the guy which sell the number plates wasn't sure about the logbook and he said, I don't know, I can make you because I don't know this logbook and stuff like that. That's the problem.
We wanted him to get a new number plate and he can't get one in this country because of our brilliant laws. He's got to produce his V5, his registration document, which he had, but it was Polish. So I simply wrote a statement to the I think it was Halfords or Bikes of Brighton, one of the two, to say that if you've got any issues with it, ring me and we'll sanction it.
It's tough luck for the Pole who lost his number plate. While his mates whiz on down to Brighton, he's been left to wait for them to return with a new one. At the police station in Brighton, the Romanian biker is in for a check.
Right, step this way, brother.
A reality check.
As we went into custody, I think it suddenly dawned on him, as that big metal door slammed behind him, that he wasn't going anywhere until the next morning when we were going to go to court.
And he's decided to come clean.
I've been lying to you. I'm here permanent.
Trouble is, you've already said it. He coughed that he was in actual fact a London resident, and he worked here as a security guard, and he was dead worried.
Yes.
OK, so I just want to get their advice to see what they want to do about this, all right? The reason he had it registered in Romania, I would imagine, is because he rides like he rides.
With a little bit of help from his friends, the biker stuck in the lay-by will be able to dip his toes in the sea today after all.
I'm retired.
They've returned with a brand new number plate.
It was fixed to the rear of the motorcycle and he went home. If anyone should wish to find out what that bike was or who it belonged to, it was on the back seat. So, as far as I was concerned, it was OK.